Welcome back to Tipsy Whiskey Shenanigans. I'm Steven, and tonight, whenever the heck you're watching this, we are getting into a double review today. Today, we're reviewing two Danish whiskeys. And I'm not talking about whiskeys made from Danishes. I'm talking about two whiskeys from Denmark. Before we get into today's review, please do me that favor. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Helps us out a ton and we appreciate the support. But let's go ahead and get into this review. We are getting into Stauning Rye Whiskey today. So we got two of their rye whiskeys going up. So we got just their normal floor malted rye whiskey. This one I believe is $80 off the top of my head. It is 3 years old. It is a blend of malted rye and malted barley. It's obviously made in Denmark. And it is... Where is the percentage? Oh, here we go. 48% ABV. So that's their normal standalone rye whiskey. And then we got El Clásico, which honestly, coolest freaking branding. Probably one of my favorite visually stunning bottles, just because killer artwork. But this is the same rye whiskey, I believe. It's 3 years old. 45.7% ABV, and this is also finished in Spanish vermouth casks. To get this review kicked off, we're going to start off with their normal rye whiskey, and then we'll kick it over to the El Clásico to, kind of see what that vermouth cask adds to it. So let's go ahead and get on the nose. This reminds me, just on the nose right there, reminded me so much of that double duality malt from ASW, which makes sense because that one's a malt that also has malted rye in it, where this one's a malted rye that also has a secondary grain of malted barley. And it makes, so here, getting a nice blend of that like spicy malty characteristic going on. Like it's like a spearminty dill rye-esque note, and then it kind of gets brought back up by like this like nice light roasted coffee, maybe a little bit of a chocolatey note. You can also smell a wee bit of the grains there, like a little bit of a youthiness. Not bad. Like 3 years old, I love it. It's unlike most ryes I've had. Again, like the only comparison I could think of is that ASW duality malt or whatever, and honestly, if I side-by-sided those, I bet they would be totally different. This one, it's so heavy on that spearmint and minty note. It reminds me of almost like a malty 95.5 rye. I mean, not that that's a thing, obviously. But if there ever was it. So it brings in those like really, really bright, aggressive, kind of like spearminty, minty, dilly notes that you get off of rye. And then it brings up the back end with that malty characteristic with like that like brown sugar, light roasted coffee, a little bit of a chocolate, and a tad bit of like a vanilla caramel. Honestly, I like it on the nose. Let's go ahead and get on the palate. Dude, same thing. The palate, a lot more earthy. The palate gets a lot more earthy. It dives into that malt characteristic a lot. Very malty. Nice light roast coffee. It's that coffee. Actually, more like a medium roast on the palate, but it's very coffee-esque, a little bit of an espresso, and then like a sharp, bright, like dill note. Dill note and coffee. Coffee and dill. Honestly, I like it. It obviously does have a little bit of that youthy characteristic, which I talked about already. It's a little bit younger of a product. It's a little youthful, but what's there, I do like it. Honestly, I would love to see this stuff at like 6 or 7 years old. Maybe a little bit older. Like, I think you put like a serious like 10 years on this. This is going to be a killer whiskey. This is really, really interesting and fun. It's not the most phenomenal whiskey I've ever had, but I would love to see this with a lot more age going on, because I do think the bones that are there are really freaking good. Let's go ahead and get into the Stauning El Clásico, which basically same thing, just finished in Spanish vermouth casks. Ooh, hello there. Hello, fruit. Brought in a plum note. Still have that like maltiness, maybe a little bit of almost like pencil shavings. Like you're in 3rd grade, you shaved a pencil. It kind of brought that note in. So it's still that same base of that original rye whiskey, but it brought in a little bit of plum note and pencil shavings. Like you get a little bit of that graphite, a little bit of that wood. I like it. So the normal rye whiskeys like here, this one just brought it a whole nother level. It just brought the complexity and the interest in the nose so much higher. And muted a little bit of that like spearminty minty note. It got a little bit more closer to like just a dill, like an earthier like mint going on. But I mean, dude, that pencil note, oddly enough, like that doesn't sound like it should be something that's good, but I love that nose right now. It made it so much more interesting. Let's go ahead and get on the palate. Still kind of falling with that pencil note. Pencil shavings. What the heck? I've never gotten that note. Definitely for sure dill. Brown sugar. A nice maltiness is still there. It's not so much coffee and espresso. And then a very, very heavy plum note. Like it is Plum City over here. It gets more like floral and aromatic on the palate. A little bit of like almost a lavender note. Honestly, I'm getting notes I've never gotten in any whiskey before. This, dude, I really like this El Clásico. That just got like so much more interesting. So much more interesting. Like I said, the Stauning Rye Whiskey, just a normal one. Honestly, it's good. I like it. It's a little bit higher price than I would like to pay for something of that complexity. But again, it's, you know, a smaller distillery. They're a little bit younger. It's obviously coming all the way from Denmark. So you're going to pay a heftier price tag. That's just how like non-American whiskey is in the market of America. So expect that. You're going to get that. So I'm not upset about the price at all. I think it's a very solid rye whiskey. Love the little malty backbone of it. And I think it has great bones, but the Stauning El Clásico just shot it to the freaking moon. It got so much more complex and interesting. That pencil shaving notes, a little bit of that like lavender kind of like floral notes going on in there. Like this is so much more complex than the other one. I could live in this nose for a minute and still pull out different notes. I like this. I like this one a lot. If I had to go with one over the other, I would say I'm for sure going the El Clásico. That being said, I liked both of them. Honestly, I would love to see this stuff with a huge age statement, or like a higher age statement. Like I want to see double digits. I want to see a 10-year-old rye whiskey. That being said, I liked what I see out of them, and I know they make some other products, so I'm likely going to be trying out their other malts because they make some malts too. I just didn't get those, but I'm going to be checking those out. But that's a wrap for this video. Please do me that favor. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down below what you guys thought about this review. Let me know what you guys think about these bottles. Have you had these bottles? Are you interested in Danish whiskey? Because so far these are the only Danish whiskeys I've ever found. This is a new one for me. Also, check out the Facebook, Instagram, and the Patreon. The links for all that stuff are down there below. Cheers, y'all. We will see you later.